Everybody stand up, let us pray. Romney, you lead the prayer. Let us pray.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be us. Do not bring us to the test, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Good morning, good students.
Good morning, good teacher.
Okay, sit down. Okay, so this morning we're going to have a lesson in which this lesson will help you examine yourselves with what would be the purpose of your life. So why are we here on earth? What should we do to make our life worth living? Okay. So before we proceed, I'd like to show you the objectives for today's lesson. So Mariel, kindly read the objectives.
At the end of the lesson, students are expected to 1. Show appreciation from the significant human experiences highlighted and shared during the discussion or presentation. 2. Compare and contrast information lesson 2. 3. Use antonyms to arrive at the meaning of the words. And 4. Draw similarities and differences of the featured selections in relation to the theme.
Okay, thank you. So these are the objectives for today's lesson. Okay, so before we proceed, I would like you to read the quotations on the screen. And who will volunteer? Yes, Miss Exclamado. Exclamado.
To be what we are and to become what we are capable of becoming is the only end of life. By Robert Louis Stevenson. Life is a sea full of many fish. I let down many nets and pulled by Langston
Hughes. Okay, thank you. So before we proceed, I'd like you to examine the quotations. What is common between the two quotations? It talks about what? Okay, it talks about life. What about life? What aspect of life? For example, in quotation number 1, to be what we are and to become what we are capable of becoming is the only end of life. What does it mean? Miss Junola. To be what we are and to become what we are capable of becoming is the only end of life. It means that okay, what about the others? Who would like to help Miss Junola? Yes, Miss Igpan. In other words, what should you do with your life? If you have the talent? Huh? Yes, what should you do? For example, life is a gift. Diba? Okay, so what should we do with this gift? Huh? Rosemary? Yes, give importance to this gift and we have to develop everything that is given to us, diba? To make ourselves useful. Because it doesn't matter how long we live on earth. But what matters is how well we live our lives. Okay, how about number 2? Life is a sea full of many fish. What does it mean by sea full of many fish? Yes, very good. So, life has provided us with a lot of opportunities. So, it's not an excuse to say that I was born poor, so I will die poor. Because you have the free will. You have the freedom on how to live your life. Okay, so is it clear? So let's proceed now to listening, before we read at a certain point, I want you to listen to this song. Reflect. So the singer is asking you, what's the question? Do you know where you're going to? So the question is, do you know where you're going to, Miss Biando? Where are you going to? Do you know? Yes, where are you going to? Your life, okay, you are in grade 9. You are in the voiture, grade 9 in the voiture. So what do you think is, where do you think this education will lead you to?
It leads me to a better future for myself.
Okay, so as early as now, even if you are still young, you have plans of having a better future. Who wants to become poor in the future? Can you raise your hand? So no one, we want to have a better future. We want to travel abroad, you know? Although these are, I think, material things, but it is also necessary for us. It is necessary. How can you go to Boracay if you don't have the money? So money is still very important. So the song is asking you, where are you going to? In other words, if you are asked about where are you going to, that song is asking you for, what do you think is the particular purpose of your life? In everything that you do, there should be a reason. There should be a purpose. So I hope that you already know your purpose in life. Okay. So let's take a look at the picture. Wow. Or drawing. It's not a picture, it's a drawing. So what can you say of the drawing? Mr. Baguio. Is the drawing giving you like similarity of how you envision your life probably after 25 years? Yes? What is it in the drawing? There is what? Huh? What do you think? Is this a drawing? Who are in the drawing? Father, daughter, and dog. It's a puppy. Okay. So we have the father, then probably his daughter, and what can you say? How do you see their faces? They are happy. How about the place? Peaceful. How about the place? Yes, you can feel the tranquility, the peacefulness, the simpleness of life. I want to, is the daughter happy? Yes. How about the father? Yes. How about the dog? Yes. So we are all happy. So do you want want your life to be like this?
Yes.
At the end of the day, no matter how far we have achieved, how good we have achieved, what's important is that are we happy? Because if you look at people, there are people, Hollywood actors and actresses, in terms of money, they have money. In terms of fame, they are very famous. But how come they commit suicide? Because it doesn't mean that if you have everything, it means you are happy. So what we want is we have everything and at the same time we are happy. Okay, so we want a happy life. We want contentment. Because if you are, even if you have the financial resources, the fame, but if you are not satisfied with what you have, you cannot be happy. You will still look for something else. The same, if you have a relationship and you are not contented with your wife or husband, you will not be happy because you will look for another wife and another husband. Wow. What happened to your children? So they will be affected. So we just want a simple and happy life. Okay. So kindly look at the copy of the selection in your book. So we will read this morning. I'm sorry for my, what you call that, nasal digestion. Let's read A Song of Life by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. I don't think you can read it like this, but you have a copy on your book. So everybody, let's read.
A Song of Life by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Tell me not in mournful numbers, life is but an empty dream. For the soul is dead that slumbers, and things are not what they seem. As no future behind us, hard for any fate, still achieving, still pursuing, learn to labor and to wait.
Okay, thank you so much. So at this point, so that we can tackle the poem, I want you to group yourselves into 6. So let us count off 1.
3, 4, 5.
Number 1 here, number 2, number 3. So you have only few dividing in each group because you are 6. Then 4, 5, and 6, and I will as a class. And I will only give you 5 minutes to answer your task. Okay, 1. Where's group 1? So look for words in the poem which are opposite in meaning to each of the following. Okay? Then you choose one reporter. How about group 2? So discuss your answers to the following questions. So you can find it in your book. What is your discipline or purpose according to the poem? It is found on page 91. What about group 3? Think about what the speaker says life is not. So it's also found in page 91. What about group 4? Where's group 4? So which of the lines suggest? It's found in page 92. Yes. Then what about group 5? You do the task, I believe. So it's not you and A. I believe that tao siya. Okay. So and group 6, what are the values expressed in the poem? Do the people of today still share the values expressed in the Song of Life? Prove it. So I will give you 5 minutes, and after that, I will call each leader to present your answer. Verse 1. Morally uplifting. It will boost your, it will inspire you. This is sentimental. Sad. Or makes you sad. Are we done? Are we done? You have 2 minutes left. Okay, so we have the reporter. The last 1 minute, you have to organize your thoughts because I'm going to call for reporter. Last 50 seconds. So listen, when you present, you have to read first the question and then your answers, your group's answer. Finish group 4. How about 5? Group 6. How about group 3? I'm Warren. Group 3, are you okay? How about 2? Okay. So let's give at least 20 seconds for group 3. Let's listen. Okay, so let's give it up for the reporter from group 1. Who will report? Okay, Miss Mikey. A big round of applause for Mikey. Everybody listen. So you read first your task.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. I am the reporter from Group 1 and I'm going to report about the opposites of the following words. Open, bivouac, harmony, strife, ridiculous, sublime, uncertain, real, belt, shipwrecked, cheerful, mournful, moves, slumbers, insincere, earnest, loud, muffled, permanent, fleeting.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Fair. Are you sure? Any reaction? So open means
Close.
no. Close is not found in the poem. So you bivouac. Okay. How about cheerful? Okay, very good. So a big round of applause for group 1. How about group 2? So we have this line.
Good morning, classmates. I'm going to report about discuss your answers to the following questions. What, according to the poem, is our destined end or purpose? Not enjoyment and not sorrow. This is our destined end. Is the poem morally uplifting and sentimental? Uplifting and sentimental? Prove your point. Yes, because it makes us inspired. How can one be a man according to Longfellow? By facing your problem and solve it by yourself.
Okay.
What conditions are suggested by the persona speaker in order to anyone to become a man? Recite lines that illustrate each condition. Let us then be up and doing, with a heart for any faith, still achieving, still pursuing, learn to labor and to wait.
Okay, very good. So the distant end is that enjoyment and not sorrow. So what do you think? So we are not here to enjoy, we are not also here to suffer. So there should be a balance. Okay? So we have to, according to be a man, you have to keep going, learn to labor and to wait. So we have to work, but we also have to learn to wait because the right time will come for all of us. Okay, very good. Everybody of us. Okay, what about group 3? Who will report?
about. What the speaker says life is not. What the speaker says life is not the way short time we live on earth and act like heroes even that we are ordinary person.
Okay.
The command, act in a living prison. We need to act like heroes in our prison, such as living life to the fullest.
Okay. That's it.
The last four lines of the poem. Let us then be up and doing, with a heart for any faith, still achieving, still pursuing, learn to labor and to wait. The quotation you choose as closest to your philosophy and life. Life is real, life is earnest, and the grave is not its goal. People not to waste opportunities. We live once, so while we live on earth, we need to live life with a purpose.
Okay.
Why the poem is an inspirational one? Because it tells or reflects our lives in the poem. How the poem celebrates the gift of life by appreciating the gifts, opportunities that the God gave.
Okay, so that's it for group 3. A big round of applause. So there the command. Act in the living present. Did you remember the line in Kung Fu Panda? Yesterday was history. Tomorrow is a mystery. But today is a gift. That's why it is called present. Diba? Remember that line? So we have to act in the living present. So do not worry anymore about what happened yesterday. And at the same time, do not worry about what will happen in the future. But act each day. But what you can do for today, do it now. So let the future face his problem because he has also his own problem. Okay, a big round of applause for group 3. Okay, let's get it up for group 4. Mr. Baguio. Catriona Gray. Okay. Morning.
Which of the lines the poem suggests? People should continue to appreciate life on earth as very important and great. Life is real, life is earnest. The great is not its goal. Thus, though our begot earnest is not spoken in his soul. Time to act is now, to make earth while moral and intellectual marks in the way. Trust no future, power blessed. Let the dead past bury its death. Act in the living present, heart within to God our dead. People not to waste the short time that they have. Not enjoyment and not sorrow is undistant and away, but to act that each tomorrow find us farther than today.
Okay.
Act as heroes amidst
To the earth's stand. And the world's broad field of battle. In the big walk of life, be not dumb, driven cattle, be a hero in this life. Work toward personal achievement. Let us then be up and doing, with a heart for any faith, still achieving, still pursuing, learn to labor and learn to wait.
Okay. So the task for group 4 is to look for the lines in the poem which tackles the thought. For example, work toward personal achievement. So they're going to read the lines. Okay. A big round of applause for group 4. How about group 5? Your task is I believe.
Good morning, everyone. I'm the reporter from Book 5. Do you believe that Longfellow has a strong view of life? Yes, I believe Longfellow has a strong view of life. How does Longfellow's view of life compare with your own view? We have the same views of life. Point out the lines in the poem that show Longfellow has a strong and optimistic view of life. You think young people might or might not agree with. Not enjoyment and not sorrow is our destined end or way. In the world's world field of battle, in the Bible of life, be not like dumb driving cattle. Be a hero in the strife.
Okay.
Philosophy in life. Longfellow's view. Longfellow is telling that life is not something to be wasted. Instead, that life is here to live. My view. We only live once, so enjoy its beauty. Results. Longfellow's view and our view is just the same. He encourages his readers not to waste life.
Okay, a big round of applause. So we don't have to waste our life. Life is short, don't make it shorter by getting involved with vices. Diba? Instead that you are going to live at 72, you will die at 30. Because you eat a lot of cholesterol. Okay. Let's have, okay again, a big round of applause for group 5. Now let's have the last but definitely not the least, group 6. With Romney as their reporter.
Good morning,
Morning.
Morning.
What are the values expressed in the poem? Do the peoples of today still share the values expressed in the sound of life? Through it. The values expressed in the poem is even there are challenges to face in the present time. We should not stop doing our ambition in life and do not have to destroy you. Yes, do the people today share their values expressed in the poem? People are experiencing their thoughts, what they're feeling, especially when
Okay, so according to group 6, we should go on with our lives and let us not be defeated by the problems we face. Is it correct? Yes. And some people, when we have problems, they would wish like, oh my God, I wish I will become a cockroach. So if you become a cockroach, what happens? You are afraid of sleepers. So that's why we are human beings. That's why we are on top of the food chain, because we are bigger than our problems. So if you have problems, just shake it off. Okay. So a big round of applause for group 6 and to all of you. So what have we learned from the poem? So in the first, you look at the first line, life is
Love.
tell me not in mournful numbers, life is, so life is a mournful number. Why? As we age, what happens? As our age increases, it means that we are nearing the grave. No, it means as you get older, it means your life here on earth becomes shorter. So every time we celebrate birthday, we should be happy because probably it will be there's a possibility that that will be our last birthday. Because life is unpredictable. But what's best is we should live our lives day by day and try to do something that will make you happy. So do not do something that will just ruin your life. Is that clear? So, okay. So you may go back to your seats and we are going to have our evaluation. Here's the instruction. You prepare, okay, look for a partner. Okay, the instruction says, find a partner and create a a brief conversation, they would have on how to have a purpose-driven life, make them act out the conversation, and present a copy for the conversation or dialogue. So you ask your partner and you're going to answer. Okay, so that would be your no, that is going to be graded today, so you have to do it now. Let's have Mariel and Julia.